Hello, my name is Shawn Andrews, freelance journalist, and today I'll be speaking with Ed Brown, Managing Director of the American Academy of Advanced Thinking and author of the new book, Education Thought Leadership, Creating the Next Generation of Scholars and Intellects. This book is currently available on Amazon. Thank you, Ed, for sharing your time.
Thank you, Shawn, for having me.
You're welcome. So what was the inspiration for your latest book?
Well, I have a passion for information and academics, and I wanted the book to do a few things. One, I want educators to read the book and say they themselves want to create intellectual property that transforms the world and solves problems. And I also want them to say, now that they have a system, a method by which they can create intellectual property and solve problems, they can actually show that to their students, and therefore they can foment another revolution that way. And then finally, I want individuals to coalesce making money in terms of their thinking, their skills, their possibilities with the idea of intellectualism.
Now, in past interviews, you said that you would like to usher in a new age of reason. What does that mean, and what impact does this book have on that?
Well, for those who don't remember or have read about the first age of reason or age of enlightenment, that was between 1600 and 1800, and the two forefathers of that movement was Sir Francis Bacon as well as Rene Descartes, and those individuals were the progenitors of that movement back in the day, where superstition, mere opinions, buffoonery, chicanery, all those things were put to the side, and facts, intellectualism, and scholars became the call of the wild at that time. So I want to see, given the current zeitgeist or current status quo of society, I want to see more intellectuals and scholars come to the fore. And if I can help usher in that possibility in this new age of reason, I think that's where I want to be in this day and time.
Okay. So why did you choose the education market to launch your intellectual crusade?
It's the bedrock of civilization. Where would you start? I looked at HR, I looked at other departments inside organizations and corporations, and to me, if education is going to save itself, it has to be educators who are committed to the idea of not only pushing ideas and perspective via classroom instruction, but more importantly, how to create intellectual property as academic artists, by which students can start seeing their manifestation of the ideas put in play through social media. So I wanted to use this forum and this industry, if you will, as a way of saying that we can do a whole lot more in education in terms of even reform when it comes to how do you prove that a student or the individual can critically think, make decisions, and problem solve at a high level, and how do you actually document that by showing a body of work through academic artistry.
Now, in your book, you outlined the IBAR critical thinking method for developing education thought leadership. I would guess that educators already have critical thinking skills. So, two questions. What is the IBAR critical thinking method, and what are you suggesting?
Well, that may or may not be true. I don't know if anyone is educated on critical thinking or critical thinking model, but I believe that I had to go to law school to have my critical analysis honed and fine-tuned. So I won't take that perspective that they automatically have it, because I don't know if educational system actually foments that. But I would say that the IBAR critical thinking method, based on my law school experience, is a proprietary concept that allows individuals to break down a problem, analyze it, benchmark it, and then have solutions to that problem. And from that problem, then we move towards building intellectual property from that solution-based concept, i.e. we create articles, books, videos, and podcasts, and then from there we push it through social media. So it's a three-step process that allows individuals to create solutions to problems inside industry. So I'm thinking that, yes, educators know how to teach based on instructions, but how to create, again, I'm using that term, academic artistry, I don't know that's necessarily the case. So I wanted to create a system by which individuals could do that and see that come to life in ways that they felt good about producing, as they say, content, but also showing students how to actually create a system, a body of work, a method by which that can actually come to fruition.
What would you like to see happen with your book within the field of education?
Basically, start the conversation, move the revolution along. And I keep saying revolution because I believe that anytime you see a society going one direction, if you want a reflection of your higher angels or your true selves to come to fruition, you have to go the opposite direction. So if this book serves as a conduit for that, by which one, educators start saying, we want to learn the system of how to create a body of work, how to create solutions to problems, and then teach it to the students, and then make it attractive and appealing and engaging enough by which it becomes not only a arduous task, but also something that students are moving towards, like they move towards entertainment. So I want to see a conversation go on, as well as a transformation in the ways we think about civilization as we perpetuate civilization for the next 1,000 years.
What did you discover through the process of writing this book that you didn't know before?
I discovered that while, as you said earlier, educators do have a body of work as it relates to maybe they might have written a few papers in undergrad or even grad school, that a lot of times they hadn't done anything in terms of a pragmatic perspective. How do you actually go to the masses or the vox populi and actually produce relevant information that they can actually be empowered by? So I found that that void was there that I want to help fulfill, but also I found that I became more invigorated by the process because I felt like I was actually pushing in a new movement. I felt like I was curing cancer by having an ideology and a perspective by which is transforming how we converse. For example, let's say that in this instance, a student has built a body of work through the IBAR critical thinking method. And now when you go to, or he or she goes to a job interview, the conversation isn't about, tell us a time when you solved a problem, or tell us a time when you had a challenge with a coworker or a supervisor. Now you go in there and say, in my blog or in my podcast, we talked about a problem inside this organization. The 3 problems we found are 1, 2, 3, and Professor Smith out of Rutgers University suggested such and such and such, and from my analysis, this means whatever. So it's a different kind of conversation you bring to interviews and enclaves and conferences that way that perhaps are not going on currently. So I want to see that kind of back and forth, that kind of enlightenment, so that that student is proving to that decision maker, yes, 1, I have critical thinking skills, 2, I can make decisions, and yes, I can problem solve. And so those things to me become more engaging as relates to what managers say they want to have inside organizations in ways that aren't currently being done or are being done right now. So I want to see that kind of back and forth going on so that we can actually have organizational development in addition to enlightened individuals walking around and therefore transforming the slight that we see in society toward entertainment and the dumbing down of society as opposed to becoming more intellectuals and scholars.
Now, what is the best way for people to contact you?
2 ways. You can go to the IBAR critical thinking method.com site, IBAR, I-B-A-R critical thinking method.com site, or you can go to LinkedIn, Edward S. Brown under Thought Leadership, and connect with me that way.
Well, Ed, thank you so much for your time today.
But thank you for having me.
You're welcome.